Hi, thanks for watching Parks in Your Pocket. So we're back. This is the first time I've tried to go to Universal Studios. This is a pass holder appreciation kind of day, like a kind of a trial run for them, I think. And I'm here in the early morning, and we're going to try and go into Universal Studios. So, if you haven't seen the channel before, my name is Dave, and this is Parks in Your Pocket. So, let's see what kind of social distancing and, what kind of precautions Universal Studios is taking. The 6 feet distance markers are only to a certain point, and so if you're farther back in the line than this point, there's nothing on the floor. So people will kind of get a little close, it looks like. Also, the 6 feet horizontally is definitely not happening. The lines are a little close, and the parties kind of bunch up, and everybody's getting close together by accident. So I'm doing my best to stay 6 feet away, or 2 arms lengths away. And I don't know if my audio is coming through because I have the mask on. So we'll see how bad of a video this is. My line is moving pretty good. I'm going towards security now. Okay, so I'm headed into the temperature checks area. So before you get to security, they have a temperature check here right now. This is kind of the first day they're doing this, so I don't know if this is where they'll do it all the time, but this makes a lot of sense. So this is the temperature check area.
Hi, good morning.
Morning.
Have a wonderful day.
Thank you. So that's nice, quick and easy. And I'm already sweating. So you're really taking your chances if you come to a theme park with COVID out there, rampaging, because people can be asymptomatic. So the temperature check is a good way to get people who are very, very ill not to be here. But people can still be infectious without a fever. So that feels like a placebo to me, but hopefully it helps keep some people away. All right, I'm gonna go through regular security now, and then I'll see you on the other side. All right, so I got through security. That's a bit odd. The way security is set up is there's metal detectors in this big circular building, and they're in a big arc, kind of like a semicircle on one side, and all the lines converge into the center of the room. So there's no way to social distance when you're trying to get into the security lines. You just kind of got to bunch up with a whole bunch of people and then just walk through. So far I'm not very impressed with what they're doing to keep people social distancing. There's not really any enforcement because there's just so many people here. I'm assuming that today is kind of a trial run. Without 6 feet markers everywhere, it's very easy to lose track of how far away you are from people. So, especially when you're holding the camera, it can be pretty difficult. I'm doing pretty good. I'm walking a lot slower than I normally would, just because I don't want to catch up with the people in front of me. Pretty much everyone I have seen has been wearing a mask though, so that's pretty good. Already, it's not even 9 o'clock now, and already this mask is hot and oppressive, and it's really hard to breathe. So we'll see how this goes later in the day. This is probably going to be torturous. And this is only June. So the shops and stalls are not open. There's a lot less tables at Starbucks. I mean, things are kind of cordoned off. It's a very odd feeling. There's quite a few bottlenecks that don't seem to be planned out very well. Especially if a large crowd is coming through here. This bottleneck could be, just jammed with people because they're remodeling this batch of stores over here. Let's check out the line for Voodoo Donut. Do they have somebody? They don't necessarily have anybody wiping down the big donut chair, but they do have some Purell next to it. Gonna head into Universal Studios, and then after I go around and take a look at everything, I'm gonna head over to Islands of Adventure and see if there's anything different happening on that side. So it's nice to be back, even if it is a little we have to make adjustments, right? So everybody has to make adjustments. The minion dances. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna walk. It's good. So they have a float out here. I don't know if they're going to be doing parades and stuff.
Thank you for being here.
Those people up there really know how to social distance.
Coming in and you've never downloaded the Universal app, this is the perfect time to do it. There's so much you can do with the app.
Hello,
You can
Bridge.
join virtual queues, you can utilize mobile ordering, and you can link your credit card.
Time to queue. We got a queue. Another thing I have noticed is while you do have to have a facial covering, there are people who are wearing like cheesecloth facial coverings, which that defeats the purpose of wearing a facial covering. Really, you wanna wear something that'll catch all your spit and stuff, not just cover your face. And so that's something they should definitely enforce, that people shouldn't be wearing just like a nylon, like barely a string or a piece of thread on their face, because it's their job to keep everybody else around them safe while they're here at Universal Studios. So hopefully we can get that message across to Universal Studios. Now, while I say that, it's already oppressive to be wearing this mask. You know, it's hard to breathe through and stuff, and it's uncomfortable, but it's the choice you make if you want to come to a park and, you know, yell your head off. So you definitely want to take it a little bit slower. I'm walking at about my normal pace, and I haven't even done anything, and I already feel like I could take a break. So this is fairly nice. They have a map of each area as you enter it that shows you where the restrooms are, so that you can go and wash your hands. So that's at least helpful. Okay, so I am here at like 9 o'clock, and well, it's a little past 9 now. But I tried to walk over towards ET and take a look at stuff, and that area doesn't open until 10, and they won't even let me walk around over there. So I'm just putzing around. I guess I might have to head over to Diagon Alley. That's where I assume that everybody is, though. That's going to be one of the more popular areas, in my guess. I noticed a lot of people will get food and then like just walk around eating it with their mask off. So if you're near a restaurant, keep an eye out for those people if you don't want to be taking your chances. But honestly, if you're here at a theme park in the foreseeable future, you're taking your chances anytime you come out of the house. So it does appear that everyone here today has been taking as many precautions as they can. There are a few people who are ornery, I guess, are just barely doing the exact letter of what was asked of them. Which isn't great. Okay, so I just talked to the carnival game operators, and apparently this is what they're doing to make these attractions a little bit safer. They're sanitizing it after every single person. They're also sanitizing it every hour, and they get a half hour every half hour they get a break to go and wash their hands. And not just use hand sanitizer, but actually wash their hands. So hopefully that will, if you're worried about that, that gives you some idea of what kind of precautions they're taking with the carnival games here at Universal Studios.
I like your face covering.
Thank you. All right, so I just walked past Men in Black. I've always wanted to do an immigration tour, which is you get to go in and get close to the big aliens and take pictures with them. They are not doing immigration tours until further notice here at Men in Black, which is kind of a bummer, but not totally unexpected. So to allow for social distancing and letting you take a break without your mask on, they actually do have the fear factor. The entire theater is a rest area where you can distance and spread out and take your mask off and catch your breath and just sit down and take a load off. So they have not only this area outside here, but they actually have the inside of the theater you can go in and sit down too, which is smart, because if there's, like a sudden rain shower, you want to be able to get inside or at least underneath of something. So they are taking care of people like that. I have noticed that there are a lot of people outside of the designated area who just see the signs for taking their masks off, and they're just taking their masks off there, which is fine. I mean, they're at least within range of it. But that might be a little bit confusing for people. Okay, so I am headed toward Diagon Alley. I assume this is going to be the busiest part of this park. All right, well, London is not that busy. You know what? I would have thought that they would had these entrances be one way. At least I had heard that was the plan to do that, but definitely does not seem that way. So I'll just go in this way. A lot of people miss these entrances, which I guess is kind of the point. But a lot of the times people will just be confused and wander past them, which is cute. All right, so not super duper busy back here. I mean, there's definitely people here, but I am here very early. The majority of the park has not opened yet. So if you're walking around and you just see random 6 feet markers on the ground like this, more than likely there's a show or a float or some sort of meet and greet that happens there at a scheduled time throughout the day. And you might be able to ask a crew member and find out exactly what goes on later in the day. Here they actually have concerts, which are really good. Limited capacity though right now. Okay, so we have a line. I am assuming this is the line for the lockers to Gringotts. So there is definitely distancing going on for the most part. This is always the craziest part of the park. This is always shoulder to shoulder packed, and everybody's rushing in there every time. And they're definitely a lot more orderly here, which is good. You know, only one person per group going in to use the locker. They do not have the wait times marked. They have a virtual line, which is cool. I think this is the line for the lockers, and then you get the virtual pass and are able to go through. I asked them, and they are not letting people in to just see the queue at all. So if you were afraid to ride the ride or afraid you might not fit on the ride, you can't just go in and stick your head in and take a look. You actually have to sign up for the virtual queue right now to be able to even see the inside of the building, which it makes it easier for social distancing, but it is kind of a bummer if somebody knows they're not going to be able to ride the ride. They still have to wait. So, kind of frustrating. All right, so I am in the app here and I'm checking out the Escape from Gringotts virtual queue. Right now it is almost 10 o'clock. It's 9:50-ish. So I'm going to go into the app here and I'm going to hit virtual line. Or no. That doesn't work. So, okay, it looks like I hit this pass right here and it's going to take me to where I can select how many guests I have. I want to go at 11:30, I guess. And I will reserve my virtual line. Internal server error. That's okay, fantastic. Let's try it again. Internal server error. Okay, great. Internal server error. Yeah. So to be able to ride the ride, you have to use the virtual queue, but the app is broken. That's a problem. Let's see if I can get the Wi-Fi connected here. That might be why that's not working. Accept and connect. So I'm now connected to the Wi-Fi here at Universal. And I'm going back into the Universal app, selecting 11:30 and internal server error. Yep. Let's try this again. Select Gringotts. Please wait. Okay, so now the times are 1:40. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So 1:50 to 2 p.m., 2:50 to 3. 2:50 to 3. Okay, so it went from 11:30 to 3 o'clock, basically. And the app doesn't work unless you're connected to the Wi-Fi here at Universal. So if you're wanting to use the app, make sure that you get that connected, because it did not work on just my data, my phone data. All right, so one of the things I was wondering how they were going to manage was Ollivanders, and I just talked to the lady who was standing at the door. They've limited the number of people who can go into Ollivanders to 10, and the line goes outside of the building around the corner over there. If you want to see the show where they do the wand selection, that says reservation only. So you can either go into the store and buy a wand, or you can make a reservation to be able to go through the show and then get into the store. So that does definitely cut down on the number of people that are going to be in Ollivanders. If you've ever been inside on a normal day, it is shoulder to shoulder and you have to shove people out of the way. And they're limiting it to 10 people in the store at a time. So that's definitely a very, very, very big change. So coming through here, I definitely feel like they're missing the opportunity to make these one way. Because if there's a large group of people, they can easily overrun people coming in the other way. It's not a problem today, but just some stickers on the ground saying, like, trying to give people some guidance as to which direction to go might go a long way there. All right, so let's check out the Hogwarts Express and see if that's going to be up and running like normal. It looks like there are people over here. Okay, so you know how I normally bring a bottle of water and I stop at these concession stands and fill it up? They're no longer allowed to take your bottle and fill it up. They can give you a cup of water, but then you can use that cup to fill your bottle up. But I don't know how many cups of water they'll give you, and I think they'll burn through the cups quite quickly. So don't expect to be able to bring your cup or your bottle and have them fill it up easily. Also, tip for people wearing masks. If you have to sneeze, don't pull your mask down and sneeze. It defeats the purpose, people. It defeats the purpose. Try not to sneeze, sure, and I know it sucks to sneeze in these things, but don't spray sneeze all over everybody, please. Ah. People just don't get it. They just don't get it. It is definitely a different feeling here. Everybody is smiling under their masks. You know, it's like the people who work here, you know, you can tell from their eyes that they're smiling, but it doesn't look like they're smiling. You know, at least from a distance. So they're trying really, really hard. And they're being a lot more animated and like waving around and dancing. Trying to seem really happy. It's definitely an alien experience for everybody. The people who work here and the people who normally come here. It's definitely different. And they've definitely changed the locker setup for most of these areas. They actually have an attendant that watches people go into the locker areas and tries to limit the number of people in there. So that's good. Although right now it's not a super busy time, obviously. So when things start to get crazy, it might get a little bit out of hand. But it looks like they're definitely trying. Whether it's another placebo effect or not, they are definitely attempting to enforce social distancing. All right, I was wondering if they were going to do a parade. So they do have SpongeBob coming around. Okay. So this was not a... Okay, so SpongeBob was not necessarily a parade. It's kind of a mobile meet and greet. I think that's the best way to put it.
Relinquish what remains of the old spark, or suffer the wrath of Megatron. The Autobots cannot protect you. They were defeated on our world, and we will defeat them here.
Megatron. Love is such a humor.
You're gonna have to tell me when they go. I can't see them.
Is that Allspark, so we can turn every gizmo and gadget into a Decepticon.
It's an M50.
So I'm not a guy. I was a real guy, friends.
Dan, we got company. Multiple minutes on the tennis.
So there's some blind spots in the queues where you can't see the person who's 6 feet in front of you because it's around a corner. So, not planned out all that well.
What was his name?
Evac, sir.
Right, Evac.
A protective eyewear. Wait until you are seated before putting them on.
Or fog effects, abnormal blood pressure, or any similar conditions that may be aggravated by this experience. Smoking at any time during your visit.
I'm going to kill the camera. I'm just trying to see what the procedure is right now. I'm just trying to record what the procedure is.
Okay. Usually when you're about to ride the ride, we just have to give you some hand sanitizer. But you're just walking through the queue. Okay, that's fine.
Well, no, I want to ride the ride. I'm going to kill the camera. I just want to get this part. Yeah.
Okay. You're this one, correct?
Yeah, this one. Some hand sanitizer. And
then just make sure you want me to...
yeah. Okay, I have to use the hand sanitizer and then put on the glasses. Okay. Alright, I just got done with Transformers. It's one of those rides where you have to wear glasses. And this mask is definitely fogging up my glasses. And then I put on those other glasses and they fogged up too. So if you're not used to wearing glasses, they're probably going to fog up really bad if you're wearing a mask on one of these rides. When you get to the front of the queue, when you're about to get on the ride, they do give you a hand sanitizer to make sure that you clean your hands before you touch the glasses.
My glasses kept fogging up.
But then when you come off the ride, there's no hand sanitizer for making sure that you're clean, so you got to take care of yourself there. The hand sanitizer they give you at the beginning of the ride is just to keep the glasses clean, as my assumption, or to put an extra step of protection there. Now, this mask is completely saturated. This mask is like 4 pieces of fabric thick. And it's completely saturated, so it's actually really hard to breathe. I wish I had brought more than one mask, because this one's going to be really, really damp for the rest of the day, and really hard to breathe, and it's going to be kind of hard for me to talk a lot. But so I wish I brought more masks. I'd probably bring like another mask and maybe like a bag of rice or something for this mask to go into to try and suck some of the moisture out of this, because it's definitely saturated. I can feel like my breath is saturated all the way through the mask, and I can't get a lot of airflow through it. Maybe your mask is better, okay? But there are masks that have like a valve, easier to breathe in this instance, but they don't protect the people around you. And while I could have one of those masks, that is not the kind of mask you want to wear to try and keep other people safe. So if your top priority is just keeping yourself safe, you can wear the one that has the valve. But if your top priority is making sure that if you have coronavirus, you don't spread it, you don't want to wear one that has those valves on it, even though it does get easier to breathe. Just bring more masks and some way to dry them out. All right, let's go back to the Hogwarts Express. So they do have social distancing markers on the floor. The ventilation sounds a bit stronger. Like they turned the fans up. It doesn't feel like a wind tunnel or anything, but it definitely feels like the air conditioner's pumping a little bit harder. The store that they have in the queue here is not open, so especially with pass holders, we have kind of a mindset we go into when we get into the parks, and so we just kind of start to like walk past people if they stop in line. We got to break that habit. No rush. I'm not going to trample you. Don't worry. It's definitely a different experience. With all the social distancing, though, I mean, there's so much space between you and everybody else. It's completely safe to fart nowadays, because you can just let her rip and nobody can smell it. When you get to this point in the queue, you actually get the choice of going up the stairs, or you can go to the elevator if you so desire. I'm going to try going to the elevator. Yeah, I was wanting to, yes. Phew. So to use the elevator, you had to use the 2R, and then the door is going to open on the back side. My battery's about to die. I feel like their methodology for how they put these stickers on the ground is really confusing, because they'll have stickers that are very close to each other on one side, or then no stickers in one row, and then they'll have a bunch of stickers in the next row sometimes. and then other times they just kind of space them out, and you wind up standing really close to people horizontal, like to the side. So I'm not sure that they had a really good thought process when they put these down everywhere, or at least not a consistent one. So for the social distancing here at the Hogwarts Express, to be able to get on the train, every odd numbered row gets to go all the way forward, and then every even numbered row has to stay back at the sticker that's on the ground. So gives you a little bit of social distancing. The amount of people that are going to fit on this train are a lot less because I'm by myself, and they're having to give me an entire cabin to myself, which, I mean, that lowers the capacity tremendously for this. So it might be virtual queue eventually. I don't know exactly what they're going to do when it's really busy. But just be prepared for that in the future. Is you might have a lot less capacity here on the Hogwarts Express. So now they did change one thing inside of here. When you are in the train, when it's time to exit, you are supposed to wait until you're told to leave and not just stand up and go. I don't think it was that way before. I think it was just kind of like, you know, people just start going. But, oh, here we go. Hogwarts Express! Choo-choo! Okay, so it looks like that's the line to get into Hagrid's. Once there's no stickers, it looks like social distancing kind of struggles. Which, not surprised, but yeah, I wish there was more wrangling of this happening. Okay, so the line coming out of the Hogsmeade area is for the lockers for Hagrid's. Hagrid's is a virtual queue right now, so you have to sign up probably really early to get a ride on that. I didn't even check, since I know that Gringotts was, when I checked the Gringotts a while ago, like an hour or two ago, it was like 3 was the next one available. So right now, this park, I'm at Islands of Adventure, and it definitely feels a lot more crowded. A lot more crowded. So I'm starting to work my way out of here, I think. Because it doesn't really feel like there's a lot of social distancing going on. And there's a lot of people who are not necessarily wearing their mask correctly, just draping them around their neck. So I think the key takeaway for me is if you come to the parks, you have to be aware that you are taking your chances. Yeah, they're putting an effort in, but are they doing like everything possible to keep you safe, or are they doing what is reasonable to keep you safe? I feel like they're definitely doing things that are reasonable, hopefully cost effective, but you're also relying on the crowd following guidelines, which you're gonna get people who are not gonna follow the guidelines, no matter what you do. My key takeaways are: bring more masks. One mask. It is really humid, and my breath has completely saturated this mask. My sweat has completely saturated this mask, and it's really hard to breathe through. So when I breathe, I'm probably sucking air out the sides of the mask and not actually filtering anything. It's definitely catching all the moisture that I'm spewing. But it's really hard to breathe, and I'm getting kind of a little lightheaded. And I try and talk quickly. So I feel like I've seen everything I need to see, and I could probably head out of here and maybe get me some air conditioning in my car and get out of a crowd of people, because I don't really feel, I don't feel overly confident here. So as things progress, it'll definitely change. It's the first baby step. We're definitely feeling everything out. I'm definitely interested in seeing how this affects the numbers. Because this is a big change, and we'll have to see what happens. I will probably get tested. Probably go to a testing center and get tested later this week, just to see. Better safe than sorry. Because there were several times where folks made bad decisions around me. So, just in case I was exposed, go get tested and figure out what's going on. But anyway, whew, it is hot. It's hot. It's just noon and it's hot. Anyway, so that's my key takeaways are: if you're willing to take some risks, there's fun to be had. If you're not used to wearing glasses, your mask is probably going to fog up the glasses for the rides, like Spider-Man and Transformers. So maybe test with sunglasses and see if you can get it to not fog those up. Do your best to keep yourself safe, because even though it's everybody's responsibility to keep everybody else around them safe, in an environment like this, people get excited, people rush, and people feel more important, especially when they're paying a lot of money to stay in a hotel and stuff. So bear in mind that even when you're on vacation, you're not the center of the universe. When you're at a theme park, they want you to have fun, but you're not the center of the universe. You want to try and keep everybody safe. I want all of you to stay safe out there. If you haven't, please like the video. If you didn't like this video, you can give it a thumbs down. I don't mind. It tells me what you like and what you don't like. But anyway, thank you for watching Parks in Your Pocket. My name is Dave. This has been Universal Studios COVID update. We're on the other side of the pandemic, hopefully, and hopefully we're not looking at anything getting any worse. But stay safe out there. All right, so I am out of the parks. This mask is making me very, very tired. It's a little bit near lunchtime. It's a little bit afternoon. And I'm kind of struggling to breathe through this mask, and I don't have another mask. So I'm just gonna call it and head out. I brought a keto chow for lunch, but I'll probably just drink it in the car. I'll wash my hands, head back to the car, and then go home. I definitely recommend bringing more than one mask, because it's going to be really humid here, and you're going to be breathing. If you're like me, you're going to be sweating, you're going to saturate your mask, and it's going to be really hard to breathe through. So take care of yourself out there. Thank you for watching, and thank my Patreon supporters for their support. I'm going to try and make some more videos here in the coming weeks. It's kind of hard to do right now in the present situation, but I'm going to try. Maybe some more exercise videos and things. So be on the lookout for those. All right. Thank you for watching. My name is Dave. I'll see you again real soon. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end of the video. I also want to thank all of our Patreon supporters, our Pocketeers. If you're interested in becoming a Pocketeer, please check out the Patreon link up above. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and you really should follow me on Instagram to see some of the really cool pictures I've been taking around the parks.